Right now, the families of two Florida teenagers who disappeared last July on a fishing trip are battling in court over an iPhone. It was recovered from the boys' boat. Authorities found the saltwater damaged phone, the iPhone, last month when the vessel washed up in Bermuda. Officials turned over that device to the corresponding boys' parents. But now the other boys' parents are suing, saying that the phone should be given to third-party investigators so that it can be searched for potential clues. Let's bring in Fred Tisi. He's a former federal prosecutor, and Brian Claypool. He is a criminal defense attorney. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Fred, I'll start with you. Why is there a need for this lawsuit to begin with?
Unfortunately, Heather, I don't think there is a need for this lawsuit. If it's true that these boys have been subject to foul play and that there is an ongoing criminal investigation, then the only thing that iPhone should be doing is being held by law enforcement as possible evidence and a possible source of leads so that they can track down and find out what happened to these two young men in what is a case that's been very, very haunting for me and a lot of other parents.
Yeah, so they would be 15 years old right now, and they took off to go on a fishing adventure, and they have never returned. They're still missing, but now foul play is possibly suspected in all of this. Brian, why does the FBI not have the phone?
Well, Heather, the FBI doesn't have the phone because the Florida Department of Conservation made a huge mistake by giving the phone back to one of the parents. I mean, that's pathetic. This is an ongoing criminal investigation. The FBI made that clear. That phone should have always been in the possession of the FBI. Heather, I've had cases where there have been young kids killed by law enforcement. I couldn't even get a cell phone back even after the criminal investigation was concluded. That was a huge blunder. But that phone needs to get back to the FBI, and they need to decode that phone, and Apple needs to step up and help them do that, and let's help solve this mystery.
So the two boys, it was Perry Cohen and Austin Stefanos, and then the phone was returned to Austin's parents. It's Perry Cohen's parents who are suing his family.
Right.
So why would Austin Stefanos' parents not just give it to the FBI to try to find their son?
Well, that's what should have happened. And what Brian's alluding to is you have to understand, as a prosecutor, your job is to make sure that there's a kind of a chain of custody of the evidence and that the evidence hasn't had the opportunity to be tainted. I mean, ultimately, if anyone's ever indicted or charged with foul play in this case, the fact that the phone may have been in the possession of the victim's parents for a time could be enough to raise reasonable doubt. So there shouldn't need to be a lawsuit. The phone should have gone directly to law enforcement. And this contention by the family that somehow that there's some third-party source out there that could break the phone. I mean, they've got the right intentions. Look, these people lost a son. I can't imagine the pain that they feel. But ultimately, the law has to control here, and this has to be done right.
Yeah, so this, of course, brings to mind the case of the San Bernardino killers and everything that we went through to try to break into that phone. So is there anything that can be learned from what occurred there and use it in this case, Brian?
Well, Heather, look, there was a Snapchat allegedly within maybe the same day when when the boys disappeared, in which one of the boys allegedly said, "We're effed." Now, you tell me that there might not be some more valuable information on that phone. And I don't think there's any coincidence, Heather, and I'm going to get shamed for this comment, but Apple's stock went down for the first time in a decade. It went down about 8%. Maybe that's a reflection of people across this country who are fed up. And I've got an Apple phone right here, and I'm on the fence of whether I'm going to stay with them because they need to step up, help this family, and they should have helped in the San Bernardino case.
Yeah.
That phone is the voice of these two young kids who are missing.
All right. Well, hopefully there will be some resolution for these parents because I just can't imagine what they're going through. Fred and Brian, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, Heather.
Bye-bye.